You stopped reacting, and suddenly, they started losing control. At first, it confused you. Because the anger didn't come when you fought back. It came when you went quiet. When you stopped explaining. Stopped chasing. Stopped trying to fix what they kept breaking. That's the moment everything changed. Because narcissists don't panic when you're hurting. They panic when you're no longer emotionally available to control. And deep down, you felt it. The tension in their voice. The sudden coldness. The guilt trips that appeared out of nowhere. One minute they ignored you. The next, they were desperate for your attention. Not because they loved you. Because they felt you slipping away. And for the first time, they couldn't reach inside your mind the way they used to. That's what losing control looks like. It doesn't always come as rage. Sometimes it comes as fake softness. Fake apologies. Fake vulnerability. Suddenly they miss you. Suddenly they understand your pain. Suddenly they become the person you begged them to be for years. But something feels off. Because where was this version of them when you were crying in front of them? Where was this understanding when they were destroying your confidence piece by piece? It only appeared when their control started dying. That's the part most people don't realize. A narcissist doesn't build relationships through love. They build them through conditioning. Slowly. Quietly. They study your fears. Your empathy. Your need to be understood. And then they shape the relationship around your emotional survival. You learn to over-explain. Overthink. Apologize for things that were never your fault. You became hyper-aware of their moods. One small shift in their tone could ruin your entire day. That wasn't love. That was psychological control. Your nervous system was trained to revolve around them. And the terrifying part is, you probably called it connection. Because when someone can hurt you emotionally and then become the only person who can soothe the pain, the attachment feels intense. Almost addictive. That's the trauma bond. Not love. Dependency. And the moment you start waking up to that reality, they feel it immediately. The moment your silence becomes peaceful instead of fearful, they feel it. The moment you stop defending yourself, they feel it. The moment you no longer need them to finally understand your pain, they feel themselves losing power. That's when the manipulation escalates. They may provoke you, triangulate you, accuse you of changing. Sometimes they suddenly become crueler than ever. Because control is slipping through their hands. And narcissists don't know how to handle emotional abandonment from someone they thought they owned. That's why they often call you cold the moment you stop bleeding for them. Think about that. You spent years carrying the emotional weight of the relationship. Years shrinking yourself to keep the peace. Years begging for clarity while they fed you confusion. And somehow, the second you detached emotionally, you became the problem. Because your healing interrupted the system. The version of you they controlled was disappearing. And that terrified them. Not because they were losing love. Because they were losing access. Access to your attention. Your empathy. Your emotional energy. That's why the relationship often feels darkest right before you finally break free. You're watching someone panic because they can no longer reach the version of you that tolerated the abuse. And maybe the hardest truth of all is this. The moment they lost control was the moment you finally started finding yourself again.